So I'm just going to start. It's interesting the things that God will bring you when you're open to receive. So the other day I started looking into Seth, and I was asking God to provide more. And boy, did I get it. All right, so there are some great writings out there, and let me see if I can pronounce these. Syncellus and Cedrinuns. I think that's how you say it. That's a great place to look for information on Seth. So, according to that, Seth married his sister, and her name was Asouam. And I thought that was interesting because in all the writings that I had looked at before, I had never seen Seth's wife's name. So, of course, you know me, I had to write that down. And they beget Enos. Okay, so Seth was called little g God because the shining of his face, which lasted his whole life. Moses also had the same and veiled his face because he frightened the people. Because he was so close to God. Let me get some water. Chlorophyll water, drink it every day. It's good for you. Yay, yay. All right. So Seth gave names to the 7 planets and comprehended the lore of the movements of the heavens. He also prepared 2 pillars, one of stone, the other brick, and wrote things upon them. Seth was taught by the angels, and after the flood, Shem's son, Arphaxad, I think that's how you say it. I don't know. Please forgive me. It's Arphaxad. Discovered the engraved stone with Seth's name on it. It also had Adam's name on it as well. And from it, he wrote about astronomy. That's Shem's son. So Seth wrote 2 tablets of the life of Adam and Eve. And after the flood, they were found, but no one could read them until Solomon, who prayed to God, who sent an angel. So Seth had buried them in the oratory of his father's house. And the letters were called, they were called Achiliacae, stone letters written by Seth. So basically what that means is that the angel held his hand and wrote. So he was writing in an angelic language, and them finding these after the flood and not being able to read them makes me think that it was close to probably to the time of the mixing of the languages. And Adam was made amazingly from 8 parts. So the first part was the dust, which was his flesh. The second, the sea, which is his blood. The third was stones of the earth, which are his bones. The fourth, the clouds, which are his thoughts. The fifth, the wind, which is his breath. 6, the greater light, for his eyes. 7, the light of this world. He was pleasing and had knowledge. And 8, he was given the Holy Spirit for his soul. Adam didn't have a name, and God asked the 4 angels to help name him. Michael went to the east and took the first letter from the star named Ancolum. Gabriel went south and took the first letter from the star named D. Isis. Raphael went north and got the first letter from the star Arthros. Uriel went west to the star named Mensi Embryon, and God asked Uriel to read the name, and Uriel said Adam, and that became Adam's name. Now, there is another old writing that came to me today, and it is called the Annals of Eutychiuus of Alexandria. And so Eutychiuus, Eutychiuus. You know, I wish God would have given this to somebody else. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to say that. I wish that I'm glad that God gave it to me, but I wish that he would have given me the knowledge to know how to pronounce these hard but names. But I think the reason why I can't pronounce them is so that it's more relatable to people who struggle, like myself, with pronouncing it. And it's, God says, crawl through it. You'll get there. So he was the Melechite or Greek Orthodox Patriarch of Alexandria. He is known for being one of the first Christian Egyptian writers to use Arabic language. His writings include the chronicle known as Nizam al-Jawhar, which is also known as the Roll of Jewels, which is known by its Latin title, the Annals of Eutychius, or, yeah, you guys, okay, so it's Eutychius. I don't have an Aaron, okay? I asked God for an Aaron, and I don't have one yet, so somebody help me with these hard pronunciations. But anyways, it's all right. So because so I began reading, and so I started copying interesting parts from his book. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read. So here we go. And of course, this isn't the whole book, but it's just parts that I found very interesting. And we'll read until God says, no more reading. So because they disobeyed their Lord, talking about Adam and Eve, God drove them from the garden in the 9th hour of Friday and exiled them to a mountain in India. This is coming from an Egyptian writer, Arabic. Isn't it amazing how God just confirms things? He just confirms it. How long have I been mocked and made fun of because I've been telling everybody that I am a daughter of Shem? I am a Hebrew. I am a high priestess of El Elyon. The angels teach me. They do surround me. And how you know that this is true is because what do I speak about? I am revealing God's truth. And you can go confirm it for yourself. So, India, God exiled them to a mountain in India. So, God sent Cain to a place called Nud, and that's N-U-D, also known as Al-Aqsariya. All right, now when I looked up N-U-D, Nod does come from that. So you can look it up yourself. I think God is wanting us to know the real names of places because, as I have said before, all things will be revealed. I'm not crazy. I'm not making up who I am and what I am. If you follow this channel, you know yourself you have been expanded in the things of God. And those of you that like to mock me, make fun of me, put me down, God will always confirm those who He has called. And in the end, He will have the last laugh. So, all of the holy members, family members, were buried in the Cave of Treasures. Okay? Which this book says is in India. And these are the words of Noah's father before he died. So this is what he told Noah. He said, "Also instruct your son that after your death he should take the body of Adam, our father, and place it in the center of the earth." If you guys have been paying attention to any of my videos that are inspired by God, because the angels tell me this, I say it, and then it is confirmed by ancient writings later. So I said that Adam was buried in the center of the earth. And here it is in writing from a 10th century Orthodox patriarch of the Christian faith. But I guess he's crazy too. Appointing one of your sons to serve there for his entire life, religiously. He shall not marry, nor shed blood. He shall not offer sacrifices of birds or beasts, but only bread and wine. For the salvation of Adam will come from that place. He shall wear animal skins and not cut his hair, nor trim his nails. He shall be alone, for he shall be called a priest of God. You know indeed that I refer to, and it's a different name, but it reads Melchizedek, but it is Mal-shi-sadak. Mal-shi-sadak. Thank you, Father God. Thank you for giving me the tongue to say that. And in this book, it says that the ark was made from Indian oak. Did God just tell us what gopher wood is? Indian oak? He was ordered to make the door on the eastern side to provide receptacles of water and food. Noah entered the cave of treasures and kissed the bodies of, actually their names are different than the Hebrew names. So Seth, in this book, his name is Shit, and that's S-H-I-T. Go ahead and giggle. Anush is the second name. Quinan is the third name. Mahalalil is the third name. Yarid is the fourth name. Wait, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the fifth name, and I'm thinking that is Jared, Yarid, Jared, Matu Salik, I'm thinking that is Methuselah, and Lamech is the bodies that were buried, and they had a way to embalm them. So Noah went in there and he kissed them, and he took the body of Adam and the offerings. Sam, which is Shem, carried the gold, Ham, the myrrh, and Yafit, the incense. As they descended from the holy mountain, they cast a last glance at the holy paradise and wept, saying, "Farewell, holy paradise." And they began to kiss the rocks and embrace the trees. Then they descended from the holy mountain, and Noah began to build the ark. God instructed him to make a nagas, which is a musical instrument, of Indian oak, 3 cubits long. You guys know that when the Spirit is on me, one of the manifestations is I cry. Indian oak, 3 cubits long and 1.5 cubits wide. The clapper was to be made of the same wood. He would sound it 3 times a day, in the morning to gather the workers, at noon for the mill, and in the evening to signal the end of work. God said to him again that when they hear the sound of the nagas, and asked, "What are you doing?" he was to tell them, God will send the flood. Noah entered the ark with his wife, his sons, and his wives, and the wives of his sons. I am like my ancestors, for Noah was mocked. No one had heard of rain. Yet here Noah was, building an ark to escape a flood, that everybody else thought they were smarter than him. They knew God more than him. They put him down. They mocked him. They laughed at him. They called him crazy. But the day came when the flood opened the earth. 700,000 of them surrounded the ark and asked Noah, "Please, please let me on the ark." And Noah said, "You chose sin. You chose sin." That was your choice. For 100 years, I talked, I preached, and I built. And you mocked. Noah brought with him the body of Adam and placed it in the center of the ark, placing the offerings on it. Noah and his sons settled in the eastern part of the ark, while his wife and the wives of his sons settled in the western part of the ark, so that the men would not approach the women, nor the women the men. Noah had brought with him everything that God had commanded him to bring. Then God opened the springs of the waters, the earth flooded, and the seas flowed into each other. And God made it rain water from the sky. Noah was 600 years old when the flood occurred, and his son Sam was 100. Water gushed from the earth, and the rains fell for 40 days and 40 nights. The water covered the surface of the earth until it surpassed the highest mountain by 15 cubits, and remained high upon the earth for 150 days. On the earth there remained no animal, nor was there any plant that did not die. From Adam to the flood, 2,265 years had passed. 150 days after the flood, God sent a wind upon the earth, and the waters calmed, the springs stopped flowing, and the rain ceased. The water began to recede, decrease, and subside until the 7th month. On the 17th day of the 7th month after the flood, that is the month of Alul or Tut, the ark rested on a mountain called Ararat, which is Mount Al-Gudi, near Mosul, in the region of Dayarabi, in a village called Farda, now known as the region of Tamin and Gazirat Bani Umar. Gazirat Bani Umar. I know someone who is from the Bani tribe. I hope you're listening. God is real, isn't he? You know this. The water continued to recede and flow away until the 10th month. On the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen. 40 days later, Noah opened the door of the ark and sent out the raven to see if the water had dispersed or disappeared from the earth. The raven flew away but did not return. He then sent out the dove, which shortly returned with wet feet. Noah then understood that the water still covered the surface of the earth. 7 days later, he sent out the dove again, which returned in the evening with an olive leaf in its beak. Noah waited for more days, then sent out the dove, which flew away and did not return. Noah waited another 7 days, then opened the door of the ark and looked out. The earth was covered with greenery, and the water had gone away. So Noah went out of the ark with his sons, Sam, Ham, and Japheth, along with his wife and the wives of his sons, and with all the animals that were with him in the ark. After 1 year and 2 months, on the 17th day of the 2nd month, that is Nisan or Barmuda, when they emerged, they built a city and called it Tamanin, from their number, which means we are 8. God, mighty and exalted. Then Noah said, there will not be another flood in the future. God then made a covenant with Noah, which is the rainbow that appears among the clouds, saying to him, when you see this rainbow, it will be the sign of the covenant. Noah's sons then planted a vineyard, and having squeezed a new beverage from it, gave it to Noah, their father, who drank and became drunk. While he was asleep like this, he was uncovered. Sam and Japhet then took a cloth and placed it over him, and walked backwards so as not to see their father's nakedness. And so they covered their father's nakedness. When Noah woke up from his sleep, his wife informed him of what had happened. And he became angry with his son Ham, and cursed him, saying, cursed be Ham, he shall be a servant of his brothers. Later, Ham invented all the instruments of entertainment, and for this reason, he was also accursed. He became a servant of his brothers. He and his descendants, named the Copts, and those of Sudan, Abyssinia, and Nubia, also called Berbers. 2 years after the flood, Shem had Arphaxada. Help me with these names. At the age of 102 years. Noah lived after the flood 350 years. Feeling his death approaching, he spoke secretly to his son Sam, saying to him, take Adam's body out of the ark without anyone seeing you, and take bread and wine with you to help you along the way. Take Melchizedek, son of Phalkid, with you, and go and deposit it where the angel of God will indicate to you. Then order Melchizedek to stay in that place without taking a wife, and to live there religiously for the rest of his life, because God has chosen him as a servant in his presence. He shall not build a house, nor shed the blood of wild beast or birds or any other animal there. He shall offer no other sacrifice to God there than bread and wine. He shall wear animal skins, and he shall not shave his hair, nor clip his nails, and he shall remain alone, for he is the priest of the Most High God. The angel of God will precede you until you have reached the place to bury Adam's body. Know that this place is the center of the earth. After giving these instructions to Sam, also known as Shem, Noah died on a Wednesday at 2 a.m. on the 2nd of Iyar, or Bashans. Noah lived a total of 950 years, and he died when Sam, or Shem, was 450. His sons Sam, Ham, and Japhet embalmed the body, buried it, and mourned for him for 40 days. Sam lived a total of 600 years, 100 before the flood and 500 after the flood. At the age of 135, Arphaxad had Quinan. Oh, these names. Okay, let's see. He lived a total of 465 years. At the age of 130, Quinan had Salak. Quinan lived a total of 430 years. At the age of 130, Shalak had Abir. Shalak lived a total of 465 years. Abir is the father of the Jews, and the Arabs call him Hud. At the age of 134, Abir had Falquid, who was so named because the earth was divided in his time. After Falquid, Abir had Quhatan, who was the father of the Arabs. In his time, people used to paint images of every person renowned for their courage, beauty, wisdom, and illustrious fame, and worship them. The cause of this worship of images dated back to the fact that even in earlier, when a man of great prudence, counsel, or courage died, they would paint his image in the halls where they used to gather. Then, when they were afflicted and sought relief, they would gather before the image and consult with it, as if the image itself were participating with them in seeking an answer. They took the utmost care not to exclude, in this difficulty, the memory of any of those who had preceded them. And so, continuing in this custom, they ended up worshiping the images. From the deluge to the birth of Phalig, 531 years had passed. From Adam to the birth of Falquid, 2,700 years and 87 years had passed. To Falquid was born Melchizedek the priest. As for Shem, he did what his father Noah had commanded him, and entered the ark at night and took Adam's body away without anyone noticing. He then called his brothers together and said to them, "My father commanded me before dying to walk the earth until reaching the sea, and to see how the land is, its rivers and its valleys, and then return to you. I entrust to you my wife and my children. Watch over them until I return." Shem then said to Phalig, "Give me your son Melchizedek so that he may help me along the way." Shem then took with him Adam's body and Melchizedek, and they went forth, and the angel of God came to meet them, who walked before them until he brought them to the center of the earth and showed them the place. When they had set down Adam's body there, the place opened up. Shem and Melchizedek laid Adam's body in the place that had opened up for them, and it closed. That place is called Al-Gulgula, or Al-Ikran Yayan. Then Sam instructed Melchizedek to do everything that Noah had commanded him, and said to him, "Stay here and be a priest of God, for God has chosen you to serve in his presence. This is the angel of God, who will come to you at all times." Then Shem returned to his brothers, and Falquid said to him, "Where is young Melchizedek?" Shem replied, "He died on the journey, and I buried him," and they mourned greatly for him. Abir was 70 years old when Shem's son died in the month of Nisan and Bermuda. He lived a total of 465 years. In the 100th year of Abir's life, Shem, the son of Noah, died on Friday of the month of Elul, or Tut, and he lived 600 years. Abir lived a total of 464 years. I think I will stop there, and we'll pick this up later.